After watching the 50 Cent produced Diddy documentary, did it change how you viewed Suge's role at all? And people alleging that he was involved with Tupac's death?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you get away with stuff, and you like when you hear the song on the I put $1 billion on your head. Real kid, like you know, like and don't nobody want to kill nobody, and really don't let nobody know.
I mean, it's all f***ed up. It was a setup. It was a plot to my brother. I feel f***ed up about it.
This is a major development. According to 50 Cent, the FBI was not only watching Sean Diddy Combs for his recent crimes, they were quietly investigating something much darker. Evidence keeps leading back to the murder of Tupac Shakur and the death of the notorious B.I.G. In this video, we look at new revelations coming from people close to Diddy, including Kirk Burrowes and Gene Deal, as well as Tupac's own family, his brother Mop and his cousin Jamala. Both were extremely close to the situation. Tupac and Biggie were once close friends. They were rising quickly and changing hip-hop forever. Both were killed at the height of their fame, just 6 months apart. Now, people who were actually there are speaking out. Tupac's cousin, former Bad Boy artist Mark Curry, former LAPD detective Greg Kading, and even a former Crips member all tell parts of the same story. Tupac's death was planned by someone. According to Kirk Burrowes, a co-founder of Bad Boy Entertainment, Diddy was responsible for the shooting that took Tupac's life. For years, no one was charged, and the story turned into an urban legend. People made documentaries and wrote articles trying to solve the mystery. Now it appears the FBI may finally be closing in on the truth. Things changed in 2023 when Duane Keefe D. Davis was indicted for Tupac's murder. Former LAPD detective Greg Kading made a chilling statement in a documentary. It's really Keefe D and Puffy Combs who are the last men standing. During a recorded interview with investigators, Keefe D made shocking claims. He said that about a year before Tupac's death, Diddy stood in a room full of Crips and openly said he wanted Tupac and Suge Knight dead. Keefe D also claimed that Diddy later offered $1 million for it to happen.
Keefe D claims that there is this ongoing conversation. It happens on 3 different occasions. But most specifically when he and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And they're there. Things have spiraled out of control. Puffy's really concerned about, the welfare is his safety. And he tells Keefe D, man, I just need you to take care of this situation with Suge and Tupac. It's out of control. Tupac's on vinyl talking about killing kids when they grow up. And, it's just become this really serious conflict. And he says, I just need you to take care of him. And Keefe D's like, that's no problem. That's what we do. And so an agreement was made, according to Keefe D, for an amount of money. And they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done. And they all end up out in Las Vegas. Suge's out there.
Well, before you say that, there's a couple things I want to talk about
Sure.
for Vegas. So when you say that Keefe got offered an amount of money, according to him, was there a dollar amount?
Yeah, so there was a dollar amount. But I think that, the nuances of this conversation are that, like, man, I'll give you $1 million, whatever it takes. It's like exaggerated speech. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's what the agreement amount was, $1 million.
So according to Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to Suge or Tupac?
Both
or
of them.
both.
Yeah, both their names came up. And according to Keefe D, he says, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the shit talking that he is doing.
The recordings do not stop there. Keefe D also spoke about a gun hidden in a car connected to Eric Von Zip Martin, a man described as powerful and closely connected to Diddy. Tupac's brother said that both Von Zip and Diddy should have been investigated if Von Zip handed the weapon to Keefe D.
Yeah, I can see how Pac felt like they had something to do with the setup, man. But speaking of Puffy, right, how do you feel about the rumor that Puffy, he gave a guy named Eric Von Zip a check for $1 million to give to Keefe D to kill Tupac?
I'm familiar with the story. I'm familiar with the dude. My man Big Psych, rest in peace, used to know that dude.
So you met Von Zip before. So how does that make you feel, man? Somebody that you met, and I'm sure that he knew that she was Tupac's brother. How does that make you feel knowing that he's the one that provided Keefe D with the gun to Tupac?
I mean, it's all fucked up. It was it was a setup. It was a plot to my brother. I feel fucked up about it. I don't know that nigga, but I ain't got no love for none of them. You know, straight up. It sounds like a typical plot. See, but considering who that guy is to Puffy and to Keefe D, for it not to be addressed is weird. We will see.
Kirk Burrowes' journal suddenly became very important. Just days before Tupac was killed, Burrowes wrote that Diddy asked him to rent cars and drive from New York to Las Vegas for the fight. That request stood out because flying would have been much easier. Still, Burrowes followed instructions and wrote everything down: dates, costs, and routes. Those handwritten notes are now part of a documentary. It appears the FBI may be using those same notes in their investigation into Diddy.
Security, Gene Deal, who was there to secure Puff, all the other warnings that we got that we needed more security, the snafu in the business world came in like this. You have a budget for everything that you do. The budget for Big in LA for the awards show ended that Friday night, Saturday morning, when a new budget started to get him from LA to London, where he would be taken care of with security, his friends, and everyone that he wanted to be with him in the style that he was accustomed to handle the press junket. When that didn't happen, that budget was never opened. The budget for LA ended, and there was a great need for security that Saturday night, and he was out without that security. The beef up. And we lost him. And in that decision, what it put us in, that decision put us in the worst situation that we could have ever been in. We lost our number one talent. We're on a West Coast where we're surrounded by enemies who told us not to be here. We really shouldn't have been there, but we were. Now we have to get out of there.
Just after midnight, Biggie left a party. While stopped at a red light, a car pulled up next to him. Shots were fired. Biggie was hit several times and later pronounced dead. He was only 24 years old. After Biggie's death, strange things began to happen. Reports surfaced that he was planning to leave Bad Boy Records. Legal fights over his publishing rights followed. Instead of Biggie being honored, Diddy appeared on the covers of major magazines. Just 2 months later, Diddy released I'll Be Missing You. The song became a worldwide hit. His debut album followed and went multi-platinum. Years later, Diddy admitted that Biggie's death increased his fame. That admission raised serious questions. Over time, several people connected to Diddy reportedly became sick, went silent, or died under strange circumstances. Allegations surfaced, lawsuits were filed, and stories appeared, then disappeared. Now Gene Deal, a longtime Bad Boy insider and former head of security, says the upcoming Keefe D trial could change everything. According to Gene, Keefe D's defense is simple. He claims the reason Tupac was killed leads back to Puff.
There's no physical evidence that Keefe D or has something to do with Pac's death. There's circumstantial evidence. There's people that could probably testify or what somebody told them or heard. So now, Keefe D, lawyers and them did a great job when they did trial by judge. Because the judge is looking for physical evidence. What ties Keefe D to Puff? What ties Keefe D to the Tupac? And how could they prove that either one of them has something to do with it?
somebody would have to get on the stand and say that I saw him, he told me, and they want to have to believe them. So, do they believe Keefe D? If he told a lot of different stories, you got to realize he may have told more than one or two stories, because he tell that story now. What about the stories he told prior to this? You understand what I'm saying? So you're going to look at that. You're going to look at, okay, did he get the money? Where's the money at? Who got the money? Who wrote the check? Who paid the money? Where did it come from? When did it come from?
Gene explains that there is no physical evidence placing Keefe D at the scene as the shooter. What exists instead are statements, secondhand stories, and claims about conversations that supposedly happened. This is why Keefe D's lawyers pushed for a bench trial instead of a jury trial. A judge focuses on solid evidence, not emotional testimony. That leads to the real question: what directly connects Keefe D to Tupac's murder? One key point is that Keefe D himself has admitted involvement in Tupac's death.
By a boy that night.
Yeah, and he even said that, like, in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to Puffy. By Zip stealing the money, now Puffy isn't connected to that shit. Or else it would have been like a murder for hire or something, you know what I'm saying?
The FBI said they were just Zip.
So the FBI told you
they said
the
he
same
was a
thing.
dirty motherfucker, yeah.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well.
They said Zip's a dirty motherfucker. Everybody crossed you. You're the last one to know everything, even lawyers, your friends. Everybody can cross your ass.
Gene says this case only fully comes together if someone testifies and says, "I heard this conversation. I saw this exchange. I know where the money came from." Even that is difficult. Keefe D has told different versions of the story over the years. When details change, every previous statement is questioned. Prosecutors must explain why this version should be believed over the others. Gene says if investigators can prove money moved from Diddy through other people and ended up connected to Keefe D, and if those involved confirm it, everything changes. Gene has long said that Diddy and Tupac were not on good terms. Tupac's cousin Jamalala Sane has recently confirmed this as well.
So I run into Suge. Pac had to fight with Orlando Anderson. He come upstairs to the hotel room. First of all, when we get to Vegas, right, he flipped on me. He like, yo, move. Because I'm thinking when we get to Vegas, we're going to turn up. It's going to be all lit. But once we get there, he turned on me. Like, nah, move. I don't want you coming out. You and Kadada stay in the hotel and so forth. So I'm feeling the way. I'm like, oh, shit, ain't this, like, how you going to bring us out here? Now we got to stay in our rooms. So I'm rebellious, right? So I'm being rebellious, right? So Shook's Pop comes in the room. He's talking about how he just knocked out some dude. I don't know who the dude is. I didn't know later that this is Orlando Anderson, the head of the Crip and all this crap. You know what I mean? So when Pop come in the room talking about it, I'm like, oh, word, say word, Pop. So he changed. That's when he changed from the orange button-up shirt that he had on, and he put on the green, like, basketball jersey type of shirt, right? So at this point, he's looking for the outlaws. He don't know where they at. And he's telling me and Kadada to chill in the room. That, everybody, they outside, they wilding. It's Robert Wayne time. And again, showing his protection for us, he recommend that we stay in the room. But I came out the room anyway and ran into Suge. And when I ran into Suge in the elevator, he in there with his girl, right? So I'm like, yo, Suge, I know you heard how Pop knocked out homie. And before I could say homie, Suge gave me the silent, he put the finger on his lips to silent me. So that already gave me like, oh, let me tone it down a notch.
Looking back, Jamala believes Tupac may have been trying to protect her, warning her without saying it out loud that danger was close. She remembers how Tupac acted that night. He was full of energy, loud and intense, but still protective. He told her and Kidada Jones to stay in the room. Kidada, his fiancée at the time, stayed calm and supported him without adding to the chaos. Jamala confirmed something many people doubted for years. Tupac truly planned to marry Kidada. He had plans for homes, family, business, and a future beyond Death Row Records. Tupac wanted out.
This could be a week or two prior to us going to Vegas, right? So we in the kitchen and Pac is on the phone. I'm in the kitchen, Pac is in the kitchen, and the Outlaws, everybody's scattered throughout the house, but Pac is on the phone, and this is what I seen with my own eyes. And Pac is going bananas, yo. He's wilding out. He's cussing out Death Row. Whoever, he didn't say, he just on the phone with somebody from Death Row camp. And he's going bananas. And all I hear him saying and screaming out is his masters, his masters. Yo, my brother's head was sweating. He had veins popping out his neck, his head. He was at 10. And at that moment, I was scared. You know why? Because I thought that death was coming to the house to knock us all out. You know what I mean? Because again, we're in California. We're around amongst people that we're not quite understanding their culture, their gang lifestyle and stuff. You know what I mean? Again, we're New Yorkers. I certainly don't understand it. So I was a little afraid, I must admit, and I thought that death was coming to the house to knock us all out, straight up.
And so when you see Tupac on the phone, had you ever seen him like that before?
No, not like that. Nope. Not like where his veins is popping out his neck and out his bald head. No. Not that angry. And that's what scared me because of the anger, the rage that he was pouring out. You know what I mean? And it was like I was just standing there stiff. I didn't even want to walk past him while he's on the phone. It's like, let me just stand here until he get off the phone, because he was, like I said, he was at 10 and he was pissed off.
Was he targeted because he planned to leave Death Row and start another label that would compete with Bad Boy? That is one theory, and his cousin seems to believe it. These are not claims from people looking for attention or money. They come from people who were close to the situation. Some of the strongest accusations against Diddy come from one of his former artists, Freddie P. He believes Diddy played a role in what happened to Tupac.
You believe that Diddy has something to do with Tupac?
Anybody with common sense, no. Anybody with common sense, no. It's kind of like the John Gotti situations, right? So Gotti kept for so long, we knew who Gotti truly was. The Paul Castellano situation, that's his name, right? You know who took out the boss. Carmichael, I think that's his name, whatever. You know, but you can't prove it. We know of Puffy indiscretions. We knew he killed Tupac. It didn't make sense for nobody else to kill Tupac. And for so many years, so many people try to spin the narrative and was saying it was Suge, but if you was in the streets, you knew it wasn't Suge. Because if you in the streets, you're going to know somebody that knows somebody from that side who's reputable, whose word that you can trust and honor. They're going to spread the word. So we knew that it wasn't Suge because of what we heard Suge went through after. If you know, you know. Like, if you don't, you don't. So Suge basically was affected by the Tupac shit real bad. You get what I'm saying? And he loved him like a brother. And I don't really think Suge probably loved nobody else like he loved Tupac. And I'm going to keep it real. That's the way it was brought back to me. From street inside a car. in LA. So, so many things that transpired since the Tupac situation, so many people's lives been affected, and Puffy just went on about his business. Sometimes you get away with stuff, and you like when you hear the song on the I put $1 billion on your head. Real kid, like you know, like and don't nobody want to kill nobody, and really don't let nobody know. Like you want to tell somebody, your son, your brother, somebody, even if you got to keep it G, and the streets can never find out. You want somebody to know. And when you hear the ad lib, you see it turned down, you had to turn it up and single it out, and you heard it. I put $1 million on your fucking head. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all, which was the accusations that is the money that he paid Zip, right? If I'm not wrong, the money that he paid Von Zip was the money that Keefe. Only reason Puffy is not locked up is because Von Zip stole the money, which at the time seemed like a creepy thing, but came back to save Puffy's fucking life because the motherfucker he was willing to pay turned out to be a rat years later, and that would have bit Puffy all in the ass. But see, let me tell you something I do know, and it's from me to any street. Them souls do not rest. And that's what I want to tell Puffy, Boosies, all the people we know, they don't rest, bro. You see, shit just won't get righter. We just got so, that day you just waiting on that knock on the door because them souls don't rest, bro. And we was misled, a lot of us was misled to hurt each other and be kingpins and guns and gangsters.
Freddie points to old lyrics and audio clips that people ignored for years. He says, sometimes the truth is hidden in plain sight, but you have to really listen. According to long-standing accusations, money was involved.